This is la Ex-Chiesa e Monastero di Sant'Agostino, the ex-church and monastery of Saint Augustine. We are in northern Italy, in Lombardy, in the city of Bergamo. Bergamo has an ancient history recorded as far back as the year 223 BC, but we are beginning our journey in the 14th century, when the Chiesa e Monastero di Sant'Agostino was built in the upper city, the Città Alta of Bergamo. The Gothic elements of the church came with an enlargement and repairs in the 15th century after a fire, but since this time the outward appearance of the building has remained mostly the same. The sound of the church bells. They are not actually a part of the soundscape you hear today at the ex-convent. The site has been repurposed and is now a part of the University of Bergamo. Walking around the cloister, you can hear the constant hum of people talking, eating their lunches, rummaging around in their backpacks, waiting for their next class. The silence and the stillness that I usually experience at other religious heritage sites in Italy was not met here. Despite the visual architectural cues that this is a place with a rich history, there is nothing else to tell the story of its past. There are signs by each door indicating which classroom it is. A-frames advertising the ice creams available at the tuck shop, a big sign celebrating the university's 50th anniversary, though only occupying this space since 2001. The magnificence of the building tells a story. We can look to archives to find out it is the last Gothic-style church that remains in Bergamo, and it survived the mass demolition of 24 churches when the Venetian defence walls were constructed in its path. But by walking through the building, an atmosphere of prestige and value of education is the narrative felt and expressed through this place. You can see the importance of innovation, art and science through the events held there, and seeing the masses of people that attend. There is an uncanny feeling seeing science expositions and new technologies inside the Chiesa. Catholic artifacts decorate the building. When the university is closed and the doors are shut, one would be none the wiser to realizing that this place is more than just another old Italian church. What becomes clear after spending time in this place is that what happens inside the building is important. The use and the function of the space now and throughout time is what changes here. Today it is easy to see that this is a modern university building. Technology, vending machines, the smells of coffee and cigarette smoke. I can imagine that the sensorial bricolage of this place was very different throughout each of its lifetimes. We can look to art to see the historical journey of the Ex-Chiesa. The Ex-Chiesa e Monastero is called Ex for a reason. The site has a history of being repurposed, from a place of religion to military barracks to stables and now a university. But I wonder as I walk through here if knowing any of that matters. Does it add to the meaning of the site today? Seeing the modern art displayed on the wall, my idea of this place becomes entirely different from my first perceptions. The doors are always open when the university is, and everyone is welcome to come and have a look around. Tourists often wander in, university students are from Bergamo and all over Italy, and there are international students from all over the world. Students are usually dressed casually, the professors in more professional attire, and you can spot the tourists with their cameras out. It feels inviting too in other ways. There are public toilets. The main hall in the Ex-Chiesa is always warm with abundant seating, and the art on display invites you to stay and to experience the space. The university's library is here in the Sant'Agostino building. it is quiet and there are not many people actually browsing the bookshelves, but the study desks are always occupied. The place has that rich book smell. There are other libraries in Bergamo that are also within heritage buildings, but this one feels more modern and catered to study compared to the others. There is not a large collection of books, but a whole aisle is dedicated to books in or about other languages. Outside the library, a notice board also shows this interest in languages, as do the screens showing which classes are on in the building. It is clear that this is a university and a place of study and education for all people, and it is very much the same as the modern university building down the road, Pignolo. The same types of people, minus the tourists, are here. There are the same smells of coffee and basic university food. There is the sound of university students. There is a display of modern art on the wall as well, and it shares the same magnificent view. One difference is there are no quiet study spaces or libraries, and walking around the courtyard doesn't have the same feeling as the Sant'Agostino building. The building is modern. There is no heritage or displays of culture outside of the education discourse. To do a proper tour of the landscape, it is essential to look beyond the perceptions drawn from only being in the space. These archives give evidence to Bergamo's education history and also the past institutional relationships between the church and schools. Coming back to the Ex-Chiesa and Monastero di Sant'Agostino, we can see that this is where the university chooses to hold its important events like graduation. But as I look at the old fading artwork on the walls, I wonder about its story and feel the disconnect between the heritage structure and its current purpose. I wonder whether the building's endurance would be strengthened if more acknowledgement was given to its past, and if the importance of the university as a cultural centre would be heightened if the historical prominence of education and innovative instruction in Bergamo were more widely known.